So I haven't been on in a while, and I figured I'd do an update because some of you out there may be thinking that I've died in the last few weeks. Here we are starting out a new channel, and every week I'm putting out something different. We're moving along with all these great ideas, and then he disappears. Well, here's what's going on with it. The camera that I'm using, the one that I'm actually using right now, is absolutely awful, and I've heard some feedback from viewers stating that it looks like I'm filming from 1997. I can't take it anymore. So, been working on updating equipment, and that's what's been going on. Rather than torturing you with this terrible filming and quality of camera, that I would just put everything together. So, what has happened in the past few weeks? Well, some cool stuff going on. I mentioned a little teaser about Robert Rogers. My colleague Scott Kemery and I found him. We met up with him, talked to him. Absolutely amazing person. Took quite a bit of video and are going to be following up and doing a formal interview with Mr. Rogers. So that's coming up. The other thing is that I've had some people helping with this whole camera and sound and editing thing to try and step this up so that it's tolerable to watch at home. The main one right now is just obtained a new camera, a GoPro, nice one, and that was actually given to me by another YouTuber and friend of mine, Charlie Bruner, who has a channel called Brash Dasher. I recommend you check it out. It's really, really funny. And he's also started a new channel called Charlie Checks Out. And he's going to different locations of historical significance, man after my own heart, and showing all of these neat things in different locations and kind of taking you with him on the journey. So that's Charlie Bruner, Brash Dasher, and Charlie Checks Out. Recommend that you take a look. And so he supplied a camera, and now I have a good camera. We have sound that actually works. And then one of our subscribers and my sister, Robin Vogel, decided that my computer is too antiquated. And today, as I'm filming this, an HP computer shows up in the mail. And she says, get something really good, do it right, do proper editing, and here's a gift for you to move forward on the channel. Outstanding. So now we have all the components we need to make this work. So I figure probably a week or something like that, and we'll get everything up and running and so forth. So that's the update. I just wanted to put this together today and kind of let everybody know what was going on and that I am still alive. However, today is also pretty cool. Not only did a computer show up, but my friend and colleague Dave Keeler came here to visit. I haven't seen him for a year because he's been playing dad with a new daughter. And so he's here today, and I figured I would introduce him. So Dave, come on, come sit down.
It's great to see you again.
And you're back after all this time, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so Dave Keeler has been with us now for about 2 years doing this crazy Mount St. Helens stuff. Goes out in the field, and we go and try and find things, and he's a huge fan of blackberries. I couldn't help it.
Yes. In all my time of hiking and rangering and being in the wilderness, hit the worst patch of blackberries I've ever encountered in the wild with this young man here hiking and exploring.
I had nothing to do with it. We decided to do a survey in the valley, and on the way back, ended up going up this nasty hillside and hit a wall of blackberries that was just absolutely amazing. And naturally, I don't have a knife on me. Dave had one. There we are, cutting each little piece and trying to go through.
We made it through with a seal pup knife.
Yeah, there you go.
That was it. Saved our life.
So, Dave, I'm going to kind of do like a little bit of an interview here with you, like let people know who you are and what you do.
Sure.
We were talking earlier today about the way we met.
Yeah.
And like, how in the world did you come here?
So, for years, growing up in Washington, and my favorite claim to fame is that I slept in during the eruption at 6 years old, and was always hounding my mom, when is this going to blow again? I want to see it. You know, I missed it, right? Being intrigued with everything surrounding the mountain, being a person of detail and fact, and knowing every publication, looking through that National Geographic from 1980, just like it was the book of everything for the mountain. I would stare at the pictures, just look at it, and one of the main things in that volume of the National Geographic was the picture of Reed Blackburn's car and the photo sequence from Robert Landsberg. So I've always been intrigued with that, looking at the map. And fast forward years later, coming to the mountain every few years, once every 2 or 3 years, you know, all my life, just kind of looking at the scenery and watching it grow. I was always wondering, where is Reed's car? And so I went up to the the Johnson Ridge, and I was kind of putting it all together. Looked back at that page on the National Geographic, kind of put it together. It was near Coldwater, so I figured that out. Asked them, you know, if it was still there. Nobody knew anything. So put that to the back of my mind. So every time I'd come up, I thought, you know what, I'm going to go through the old Spirit Lake Highway and go up to Johnson Ridge. And my wife, you know, it was her first time going up there, so I told her a little bit about the car, and, you know, it's like just, again, wondering what happened to it, and kind of made it a focal point this one time, 38, 40 years later, whatever the timeline was. You know, we're gonna kind of look through the countryside and look for this Volvo, and made our first stop to the museum. I think we stopped by to see the Como car, and I decided this time, for the first time, I'm going to ask around a little more and be vocal about it. So what better place than to go to a museum and ask them, do you know where some of these relics are, some of these cars are? Nobody knew what I was talking about in some cases, and then in some cases they're like, nah, we don't know. Even though the Como car was at this museum in Cowlitz, I thought that would be a good place to start. No, not a word. So stopped by the visitor center in Silver Lake and asked them about it, kind of approached it, wondered where some of these items were, and they're, you know, to no avail, nothing. So telling my wife all about this as we're trucking down the 504, and I thought to myself, you know, we're going to go straight to Johnson Ridge, just check it out, enjoy the rest of the day, not focus on anything car-wise. And last minute, I'm just like, you know what, let's stop by the A-frame. It's her first time. We got to give her the full perspective of what was happening, the mud flows and, you know, just lahars, just everything that happened that day. Pulled in, and I can't even explain it. I'm looking at a Volvo, and I'm just like, I'm getting shivers right now, just chills, because I'm just like, what in the world is this? I said, no way. And I'm talking to myself, but talking to her, and she's just kind of like, what?
And I have to interject, because he pulled in this small window. The car's sitting out there on the edge of the parking lot. It had been on the ground about 2 days when he pulled in.
I knew exactly what it was when I saw it, and instantaneously, Joe and I were on the same team from that day forward, because I don't know if you knew the significance. I know you know the significance. I don't know if you knew the significance of what the car meant to me at that moment. Like, it was just like two worlds colliding. It's like, do you really have this? And we talked for hours that day, I think.
Yes. Rosa was sitting in the car, I remember, at one point, waiting for you to leave.
She was, yeah. and that was the catalyst, the beginning of our friendship and going down this journey of research on the mountain and putting things together and exploring and figuring out sequences and how things happen. And that's
this gentleman that went through this huge event 44 years ago is directly responsible for a great friendship. And
Likewise.
camaraderie and a common interest of telling the story and preserving these items and preserving these people's stories. It's amazing how influential you can be many, many years after you're no longer with us.
Yeah. And Reed Blackburn, of course, was not only part of the Columbian, but National Geographic. So a local person we looked up to, and just nationwide as well.
Absolutely.
And here we are. So much has come from this, and
Well, you haven't been here in a while.
a year.
Yeah, he's been a little preoccupied with with one of those little dictators that we call babies. Your sole existence is to serve them and take care of them. So you know about that really well now.
Oh yeah.
And Dave hasn't seen Reed's car inside. The last time he saw it, it was outside, and the last time he was in this building, it was unfinished. We hadn't done anything in the interior. So first impressions. There you go.
First impressions, exactly. And I can't thank Joe and his family enough for what they're doing and sharing with the community. And if you're watching this video, just know that their whole heart and soul are poured into this. And we're doing what we can to help, but they're carrying the major weight of all of this and putting this together. And you can't come to a better spot if you have any interest in the mountain than to pay respect to the victims of the eruption and learn about the geology, just everything all in one. You can't beat it. There's a lot to learn here, and something we haven't done, or the community hasn't done enough, is to tell the story of who the victims were, who, for lack of a better word, who the people who were lost during that day were. And there's such an amazing story to each and every one of them. And in our research, we put together some of these mysteries in finding out who they were and more about them. And it's just, there's a lot to process and a lot to tell about them.
So are you impressed with what's going on so far?
Extremely impressed, and your preservation of everything is beyond expectation.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to do is I want to actually send a shout out, because we have a GoFundMe running right now. If anybody's interested in checking it out, it is GoFundMe. Just type in Mount St. Helens. You'll see a picture of Reed's car there. Tells the story of what we're trying to accomplish here as far as preserving vehicles and items and so forth and making them available to the public. I have people that have been donating, and there's so many of you so far that have contributed to this cause, and I can't thank you enough. It's just absolutely awesome what people are doing. I want to do a shout out because I didn't have the ability through GoFundMe to be able to thank some individuals, but in case you're watching, out of Utah it is Alex and Deborah Rudd, and they just sent a donation for $500. And one of the things I want to do is let them know that they've just secured the finishing of the enclosure for Reed Blackburn's car, all of the ceiling material and the insulation and all of this fun stuff that goes around the car. That this is the next step that we're moving into in completing this project. The goal is to have it done by May, April actually. We want to have kind of a beginning grand opening party and invite people and so forth. And as we go through the channel here and go through things, I'm going to let you guys know too that we're going to have this grand opening, and I'll give you the date and the time. And I'd love to see viewers come out here and have a barbecue. And we'll walk through and look at things in person and see if we can't get everybody involved. So, yeah, that was a biggie one. I didn't get to tell you outside, but they did a fantastic donation, and it just came out of the blue, and was a perfect timing when it was really, really needed to kind of move this forward. So next time you come back, this will all be filled in, right?
That'll be amazing to see what that'll do.
It's going to change it.
Absolutely.
And here we are right now. Oh, I got a good question for you.
Yeah.
Did you ever in a million years think that, so you're a Mount St. Helens guy, you've known it since you were a little kid, you slept through the eruption
Yes.
And missed it. That's kind of funny, actually, if you really think about it.
It
You know,
is.
dedicated Mount St. Helens guy,
It
and you
is.
have to tell everybody you slept through it.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, life is really funny. But did you ever think in a million years you'd be sitting here talking about the Mount St. Helens story,
I
sitting
did
in
not.
front of that car?
And I should have mentioned this earlier. It's an honor to be sitting here with you talking about this. No, I did not. And it's one of my passions in life because, you know, who else can be in the spot where a mountain blew in the mainland in our lifetime as a country, right?
Right.
So much going on there. It's there's so much to learn. Yeah,
We're going to keep moving forward. There's a lot to do.
yeah,
A lot of things coming up that I haven't disclosed yet. I mentioned about Robert Rogers, and I keep kind of putting teasers out and saying that we have different items here. You got a sneak peek of those items,
Robert,
tonight.
I'm looking forward to meeting you. If you're, I can't wait to meet you.
We're gonna do a formal interview with Mr. Robert Rogers. I said this on one of my other episodes and mentioned if you get a chance, look up just do a Google search and look up the Mount St. Helens Trespasser. Read that story between Robert Rogers and Francisco Valenzuela. It's absolutely true story, and that's what's amazing about it. And there should be a movie made. So anybody
Absolutely.
from Hollywood out there that happened to see this or whatever, I got a
Absolutely.
good script for you. You need to do Robert Rogers and Francisco Valenzuela's story. That's absolutely amazing.
And I'm wearing this gray coat in honor of you, Mr. Rogers.
The
Robert.
Gray Man, yes.
Yes.
Yes, we'll definitely be talking about that in the future, too. Can't tell you what the items are, but pretty soon, probably next week or two, we'll get that out to you. Cool. All right. Well, there you have it. So I'm going to upgrade all of the video and the audio and the editing. We're going to make this a respectable production, and we'll move forward. You all get to meet Dave, which is very cool.
Excited to
I'm
be
getting
here.
one at a time slowly. The next one I got to get in here is
You'll be
Scott
seeing a lot
Kemery.
more of me, hopefully,
Yeah, absolutely.
near future.
Yeah. So thank you very much, and
Thank you.
see you soon.